Everbank Field in Jacksonville, Florida, where they still know all and tell all. Tonight, after a week of changes in Jacksonville, a head coach makes his debut against a team trying to snap a 6-game slide and keep its faint playoff hopes alive. Chargers, Jaguars, next on
Monday Night Countdown.
Welcome to Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's.
North Florida. It's Jacksonville, where earlier this year on a Monday night, Maurice Jones-Drew and the Jaguars shocked the, hopefully for them, Super Bowl-bound Baltimore Ravens. Can they do the same tonight to the San Diego Chargers? Welcome, everybody, to Monday Night Countdown, the first Monday in December. Still balmy in the Northeast. We're turning up the heat with 90 minutes to recap a wild Week 13 in the NFL. I'm Chris Berman. Glad to be with us. Coach Mike Ditka, you're looking very proper.
Business-like.
Business attire. Keyshawn Johnson, quite a game you saw yesterday, Giants pack.
Pretty decent game. It just turned out on the other.
It was quite a good game. Chris Carter, you guys get the memo. Autumnal still.
Well, Boone, we try to keep with what's going on
I got you.
Okay?
I'm trying to pay attention to you guys, hence moving in behind you. Tom Jackson, happy Monday night to you. Always a pleasure. We have Mort, we've got Adam, we've got a cast of dozens in Jacksonville tonight. Why don't we begin with
The Broncos.
Oh, okay, we'll begin with the Broncos, who took the Tebow show on the road to Minnesota. More of the same. Although he didn't carry the ball as much, he threw it actually some more. Tim Tebow. Now watch this play. Tebow, stiff arm, and firing to Demaryius Thomas. And he's going to go in. Back and forth game in which Christian Ponder played very well, but then Willis McGahee up the middle, bounces it outside. Tebow with a 2-point conversion, and we're tied. Now Ponder, who broke Fran Tarkenton's rookie record for passing in a single game for the Vikings, wants this one back. Last minute and a half, Andre Goodman was a good man for Denver. In the end, Prater, field goal, Broncos 35, Vikings 32. And we did not get a chance to introduce our Steve Young, who is part of the cast of dozens. Meanwhile, Steve, good evening, good December to you.
Hey, Boomer.
What did you see from Tebow yesterday that maybe you hadn't seen before?
Well, Boomer, those of us that would really love to see Tim Tebow play NFL quarterback, I thought for the first time I started to see something that could become an NFL quarterback, to throw the football the way he did. To lead, look, for years I tried to. Ryan Cunningham did it. Roger Staubach did it before me. A lot of guys would try to bend the quarterback position to the guys that could run around a little bit. We all have had to straighten up to actually play the position, throw the ball from the pocket. I see Tim trying to start to do that. I think the coaches are starting to open that up, that opportunity. For the first time yesterday, I saw something that I think you can build on where he could actually stick around and play NFL quarterback.
Well, and the Broncos will certainly say that's fine with us because they're tied with the Raiders, Steve, for first place in the AFC West. We'll get back to you shortly. I know your opinion of Tim Tebow and his ability to win hasn't changed. Did you see something that Steve saw or maybe something different?
Absolutely. He's throwing the ball better. That's one thing. Incremental steps. I think that he's playing better. The coaches are better understanding how to build things around him. We saw less of the option, more of the I formation, more of him empty, throwing from the pocket, as Steve said. All of those things, I think, are getting better and better. So it's obvious to me that he's working awfully hard. the thing I love is that the intangibles, that will to win, that desire, the inspiring your teammates to be better ball players around you, all of that is already in place. So if he can learn to throw the ball, coach, and throw it well, I think you do have a guy who's going to be a successful NFL quarterback.
Well, you know, I go back all the way back to when I started in football, and a guy named Frank Tarkenton came into the league, and he ran around, and people said, geez, he's going to get killed doing that. He ran around, and he ran into the Hall of Fame. Then I was in Dallas, and Roger Staubach come in, and he did this, and oh, he'll never make it because he runs around. The kid is not a conventional quarterback, guys. I'm not going to tell you he's a great thrower. He has shown improvement, as Steve said. The conventional things that a quarterback does, he's getting a little bit better at. But the other things, he's outstanding at. I mean, the intangibles, he makes things happen, and that's special.
I think it's a credit to Mike McCoy, the offensive coordinator, and John Fox to allow Mike to put a game plan in like this for Tim Tebow and not take anything away from the other skill position players. Because a lot of times when you cater to one player, especially a quarterback, it affects the rest of the team. But the rest of the team offensively are buying into this. Every single week we say, he completes 9 balls. Then the next week he gets 10. It's one more, but it's one more toward the right direction and the right steps. And at the end of the day, if they make the playoffs, now you've gotten about 8-9 weeks of good footage for him in the passing game. You can take that and finally put a game plan together that will allow him to be successful throughout the playoffs.
Well, there were several things that I was encouraged with. Number one, the speed of the NFL game is not overwhelming. Now, we're starting to see a lot of backups play, and they look like backups. The speed of the game, they never catch up to it. So you see Tim, with the amount of reps he's getting, the speed of the game, he's starting to get used to that. Number two, since week number 7, he's the lowest in the league as far as completion percentage, 48%. But the reason why I'm encouraged is because he doesn't throw the ball into traffic. All right, so he don't create turnover. So I don't mind his percentage being low as he gets better because he's not going to create turnover. These other guys are low, and they also have their turnovers. And the third thing was they played, their defense didn't hold up like it has been, and they got in somewhat of a shootout, and he was able to adapt. Not trying to run the football. You could see him adapting to this is a different game than he had played in those other starts.
Well, and you guys have all talked about it. It was a different game plan, different in addition to the normal, not the veer, but the option formation, the college option. It is 10th start like anybody. 10th game, which, by the way, it's Gabbard's tonight. You'd hope the learning curve of Tim Tebow or anyone in their 10th game is better than weeks 1, 2, and 3, and it has. He ran it 4, he threw it 15 times. It's changed. The expectations of him, he's higher than our expectations, and the expectations of the team is higher than we have. And I mean, it's kind of fun to watch. Yeah. Like they're staying one step ahead of the posse, aren't they, Tom? I know you're.
Yeah, they are. It's funny because I think that if he continues to improve, it's going to just become very interesting. Because I do think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to get to the playoffs, and then one game maybe at home. It's going to be very interesting.
And they'll have a handful of great plays for him come playoff time.
Well, they are home now to Chicago, home to New England. Very interesting indeed in Denver. We're just starting. We'll be back.
Coming up on Monday Night Countdown, we're digging into the 2 AFC North contenders.
Roethlisberger fakes. Now he's running right. Going to throw it to the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Trent Dilfer has the keys to both offenses. Did Jason Garrett cost his team the game? We'll revisit Dallas's debacle in the desert. And another week.
It is good, and there is your dagger.
Another victory for the Packers. Do we all think that 12-0 Green Bay will run the table in the regular season?
Thursday Night Football live on ESPN America.
All right.
In the AFC North, the Steelers are firing on all cylinders and have their sights set on the playoffs. Big Ben and the boys have been tough to break down, and the Browns are the latest franchise to have a shot at Steeler country. Can McCoy topple Roethlisberger, or will the black and yellow defense hold firm? It all starts at 0200 CET. Thursday Night Football live on ESPN America, home of the NFL.
Let's go, boys. Hey, let's go,
In Super Bowl IV, the Kansas City Chiefs proved to the world that the AFL had pulled even with the NFL. Kansas City kicker Jan Stenerud connected on 3 field goals as the Chiefs led 9-0. Chiefs quarterback Len Dawson called a nearly flawless game, completing 12 of 17 passes and hitting Otis Taylor on a 46-yard play for Kansas City's final touchdown. With the help of a defense that held the Viking offense to only 67 total yards, the Chiefs proved they had come of age.
Sunday mornings are great.
Matt in the pocket throws. White, touchdown Atlanta.
I wake up. I actually have Waffle House early in the morning. Kind of gets me going.
Yes, sir. Back line for the Pro Bowler, Roddy White.
And I'm off to the stadium, and I'm listening to music, preferably Tupac.
Roddy White crossing. Touchdown, left side.
And once I get to the stadium, I'm locked in, I'm loaded, and ready to go.
If you love the NFL, then ESPN America has the top coverage for you all season long.
Touchdown! Ridiculous!
Starting with Sunday NFL Countdown. Catch 3 full hours of previews and features, followed by a triple header of live NFL games. And every Monday, catch up on all the news from around the league with NFL Primetime and Monday Night Countdown. Then, kick things off with the one and only Monday Night Football. Want even more NFL action? Every Monday through Friday, we bring you 60-minute versions of NFL Live and ESPN's brand new show, NFL 32. And each week, we dip into the film library to bring you a new episode of NFL Films Presents. Plus, in January, the playoffs start with Wild Card Weekend, followed by the divisional round and conference championships. And on February 5th, top it off with the greatest spectacle in American sport, Super Bowl 46 live from Indianapolis. ESPN America, home of the NFL.
Monday Night Countdown is served by Applebee's new sizzling entrees. Fresh flavor never sounded so good. And in part by Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart. And the new action thriller, The Darkest Hour, in theaters Christmas Day.
Yesterday, the Pittsburgh Steelers' Ben Roethlisberger singing Under My Thumb with an injured thumb, up 14-0 at home to Cincinnati. And he's now completed more passes than any Pittsburgh Steeler. That would include Terry Bradshaw. That's a touchdown to Mike Wallace. Then before the half was over, Antonio Brown gets into it. And a close game the first time around was over by half. Whoop! Outside at the midfield stripe. Down the sidelines, it's 28-7 Pittsburgh at the half. They win it 35-7. The Ravens and the Steelers, of course, the Ravens swept the Steelers, but still, they both have the same record atop the AFC North at 9-3. We bring in Trent Dilfer now, and Trent, the key to these offenses down the stretch, let's look at both of these teams, Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Good evening.
Well, boom, guys, you know, in the next 6 weeks, offensive football is all about, as Tommy likes to say, what is portable. And what is portable in the National Football League is knockback. When you got big guys up front that can knock you back and create space, you have consistent offense. Look at Doug Legursky here. He's going to get 2. 1 and then 2. Dig the second guy out, knocking him back, creating space, letting Mendenhall get into the end zone. Out in the field. Check this one out. Watch the head get ready to snap back right here by the Bengal. Wham! That's some knockback in here. And then how about my back? Got the knee up in the air. He's getting ready to knock back some Cincinnati Bengals. 5 yards after contact. This type of offense is portable. How about those purple guys? The Baltimore Ravens, I know them. Look at them move the line of scrimmage, create a cavity in the seam, and now the runner says, you want me at 3 yards? I'll knock you back in the end zone and get 6 points. Out in the field, little simple ISO play left. Look at Brian McKinney, the left tackle, Vontae Leach, the fullback, knocking Browns back. This type of offense, guys, is completely portable, and to play in the AFC in the next 6 weeks, you better be able to knock each other back and create some consistent offense.
Listen to that. You look
like that, knockback.
Things like, sounds like you've been sitting next to us doing highlights. Well, 26 years ago this week, Coach, you remember this. You guys were 12-0, and that was a magical scene, although the only loss for the great championship Chicago Bears in '85 to Marino and Shula and the Dolphins.
A whooping.
Well,
A whooping I haven't got over yet.
Well, somehow I think you have. You laid some whoopings on some other teams, you know.
That night they played better and they coached better. They did everything better.
You're a good thing it didn't bother you at all. Now, as Robert Downey Jr. explains, one of the key plays that night in Miami may have been more calculated than it first appeared.
Monday night. It's the one game we're all watching because on Monday night, we witness the amazing. Pause. Dolphins Bears 85. What did you just see?
Back he goes to throw. Under pressure. Ball is deflected in the air.
What most fans saw was a tipped pass and a bit of good fortune. Allow me to present an alternate theory. Is it possible, using a bit of quick math, that Dan Marino calculated, if he hit the defender's hand at the perfect velocity and at the perfect angle, the ball would travel directly to Mark Clayton, surprising the defense and handing the Bears their only loss that year. Elementary indeed. Amazing. Nonetheless.
Oh, and are things going right for the Dolphins tonight? 42-yard touchdown. This is vintage Monday Night Football.
NHL is on ESPN America. Catch all the action, all the goals, and all the big games, including the playoffs and the Stanley Cup Finals. Looking for NHL action? The puck stops here. Hockey's best go head-to-head all season long, live on ESPN America.
At a banquet 3 days before Super Bowl III, New York Jets quarterback Joe Namath publicly guaranteed that his team would beat the Baltimore Colts. And he didn't let his fans down. NFL Hall of Famer Johnny Unitas entered the game and led Baltimore to their only score. But the lone touchdown wouldn't be enough. With an air attack led by Namath and a solid ground game led by fullback Matt Snell, the Jets plowed down the field for 3 field goals and a touchdown. And true to his word, Namath and his Jets walked away with the first Super Bowl victory by an AFL franchise.
And the ball game is over. There is the gun, and the Jets are champions of the football world.
I'm Michael Kim. Coming up Tuesday on SportsCenter, Phillip Rivers and the Chargers try to keep their slim playoff hopes alive with a win in Jacksonville. Also, Eric Mangini takes us inside his film room. In hockey, the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference square off when the Pens host the Bruins. The latest news from baseball's winter meetings and this week's best of the best candidates. This and more Tuesday on SportsCenter.
All day, baby. This is what we live for out here. I'm trying to tell you. Every great team has an identity. What do you want our identity to be after the end of this game? Hey, it's time to go hunt now. Keep talking to me. I like it. I like when you talk dirty to me, Daddy. Ain't no way in the hell we're gonna let him beat us. Ain't no way. Need a turnover, Captain. Hey, Castle, what you got from the Castle? We need a turnover, Daddy.
Castle dumps it off, and it's going to be intercepted! Eric Weddle jumped in front of it, took it away, and the Chargers win!
Another W. It shouldn't have been that close, but we'll take it.
What are you doing? Like, what do you mean?
What's going on, guys?
Josh, what's up, man?
Excuse me. What's up with him?
A couple of those home run derby balls you hit?
Yeah.
They were his cousins.
Welcome back to Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's.
ESPN is in the midst of Jimmy V Week, raising funds and awareness for cancer research. For more information, go to www.espn.com/Jimmy V Week. The 10th pick in last April's NFL draft tonight is Blaine Gabbert's 10th career start. It's been a work in progress for Blaine this season. He's won only 2 of his previous 9 starts. Still, the Missouri native never one to shy away from any challenge, including a showdown with our coach Gruden on the Corona Extra bus.
All right, Blaine Gabbert, welcome to the Monday Night Football bus. You know, watching you come to Jacksonville, and David Garrard was the quarterback. Did you have any idea that David Garrard would be gone right before the start of the season?
Just a kind of quick turn of events. Dave got let go. Luke was put in against the Jets, and then before you know it, I was in there, and it was just kind of funny how the things worked out, but you got to seize your opportunities.
Talk about the week with Coach Del Rio, the guy that drafted you. I mean, that's got to be tough on you and on this football team. How have you guys responded to that?
It has been a crazy week. You don't really see a head coach getting let go and an owner selling the team in the same morning. So that was difficult, but it's a learning experience. Things aren't going to go your way every time. You got to take kind of things from that, kind of store it away, and it's going to help you on throughout your career.
Let's talk about where you are as a quarterback. You've made some great throws at times, big plays on third down, any down, but you've also had some horrible things happen in the worst possible times. When you look at your body of work through the first 9 or 10 games, what do you think you're doing well, and what are some of the things that you feel like you got to clean up?
Well, just clean up the little things like this. It was just a miscommunication. We were changing the play, and these things, like, they can't happen. We're going down to score. We got the right look there. We're about to throw a fade for a touch. It was just unfortunate, but there's been a lot of ups and downs, and we're working through all the kinks and just trying to play more consistent.
In general, in this AFC South, can Blaine Gabbert be the guy to really push the Jaguars?
There's no question.
Perennial team every year in this league?
I believe that. Our team believes that, and we got the pieces to the puzzle. Our defense is playing great football right now, top 5 in the NFL, and from an offensive standpoint, it starts with me. I got to be more consistent, lead our guys to victory. Just find a way to get a drive going at the end of the game and score a touchdown.
Give me 2 or 3 goals you have to beat the San Diego Chargers. What are 2 or 3 things?
We'll just execute our offense. It sounds so simple, but it's so difficult. You know how hard this league is. You get different looks every snap. And a lot of them are unscouted. So you just got to do your best job and execute the play even in the toughest circumstances. And that's our number 1 goal as an offense. And then just take care of the football. Eliminate turnovers, because we know the turnover margin, that determines games. You're plus in that area, you're going to win.
You've been well coached, man. You've come a long way. Keep it going, man.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, Coach. All right, Blaine, thank you. Rookie quarterback, and tonight a rookie head coach making his debut. Mel Tucker, only the 3rd coach in franchise history. He was defensive coordinator under Jack Del Rio, till Del Rio was fired earlier this week. And the team was sold at the same time. Very convenient. 39 years of age, he coached at Jacksonville and Cleveland in the NFL, coached in college under the likes of Nick Saban and Jim Tressel. Of course, Tom Coughlin was the first coach ever in Jacksonville history, and in year number 2, had him playing in the AFC Championship game. For more on the new man in North Florida, let's head down to the bank on the banks of the St. Johns River. Sal Paolantonio with a direct TV team report. Good evening, Sal.
Good evening, Boomer. You know, Mel Tucker is well respected within this locker room as the defensive coordinator calling the signals this year. The Jaguars defense coming into this week has held opponents to just 46 3-and-outs. That leads the National Football League. And Maurice Jones-Drew told us they're playing for the future, they're playing for this team, and they're playing for Mel. And Mel Tucker, in his first meeting with the team, told the team to write down 2 words: love and discipline. Love your teammates, your coaches, and the game, and do what you're supposed to do when you do it. And I asked Mel Tucker how the team was responding to his message.
They've responded well. Everything we've asked them to do, they've done it. It hasn't been an issue. It seems like they've done it with enthusiasm. As we went, the execution improved, and they were having fun with it. So I think we're doing the right things. We have to show that we can play a relentless brand of football out here, and that's what it's all about tonight.
Mel Tucker was asked specifically, do you want the interim removed from your name? He said, obviously. But, you know, this is about winning this football game, finishing strong, and everything, Boomer, will take care of itself.
All right, Sal, thank you very, very much. Our shows, NFL lineup every week, NFL Live, weekdays 4 to 5. NFL 32, as you saw with Morton Susie, 6 to 7 weekdays on ESPN2. Audibles, Key and his staff, Thursdays from 7 to 8 on ESPN. And NFL Kickoff, Fridays 7 to 8 on ESPN. Get you set for all the games on the weekend. Now to two guys always trying to stay on schedule, Morton Adam and the Verizon Red Zone. Fellas, how are you?
Thanks very much, Boom. Lots of news surrounding both teams in tonight's game. Let's start with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Last week, they fired Jack Del Rio. They named Mel Tucker as the interim coach tonight. And already we're starting to hear about some names that will be candidates for Jack Del Rio's former job. One of them is the Falcons offensive coordinator, Mike Mularkey, who has drawn interest before the former Buffalo Bills head coach. His son works in the Jacksonville Jaguars front office. He could get a look, as could Mike Sherman, who the Jaguars have been in contact with in the past month. And don't dismiss the idea of Bengals offensive coordinator Jay Gruden. Now, the man taking over for the Jacksonville Jaguars will be Shad Khan. And there's some people around the league who already know him who say that he will be an active football owner, more along the lines of Jerry Jones than somebody like Steve Bisciotti or Pat Bowlen. He will be involved in his team, he will be active in his team, and we will hear plenty in the weeks to come from Shad Khan, who could be approved for ownership of the Jaguars on December 14th.
Adam, as you know, one of the most stunning stories we've covered over the years was the firing of Marty Schottenheimer in 2007 after he went 14-2, and now it's Norv Turner's time to be on that hot seat. Norv Turner has never had a losing season since he took over that job for Marty Schottenheimer, but they're 4-7. Low, the expectations were high, the results are low, and right now speculation is rising that he is out as coach of the Chargers. The question is, will general manager A.J. Smith follow him out the door? And some of the players that A.J. Smith put on that roster, including an offensive line that once did very well in protecting Phillip Rivers. Chris Dillman, everybody knows that concussion right there was a serious incident. He's on injured reserve. It's now being reported by Kevin Acee of the San Diego Union-Tribune that Dillman is contemplating retirement. Also, Marcus McNeil, their Pro Bowl left tackle, as Dillman was a Pro Bowl guard, that his future is shaky there. And center Nick Hardwick, who's been a really stellar player at center there, is a free agent. So Phillip Rivers has had all this protection, but this year he's taken a beating and he's been a stud. Going forward, may have a new coach, probably will have a new offensive line, Chris.
Coming up, find out what we think about the Pack running the table. Tommy, there's one reason why, because they got a real quarterback.
CC, the Lions were buried under a pile of yellow flags and mental errors, and I got one guy I want to talk to about it.
Hey, Tommy, we're going to talk about the Cowboys' end-of-game debacle. Coach, you got to trust your players. For that, I'm going to give you a stop it and a come on, man.
You know what, Coach? The Chicago Bears should leave Brett Favre on the farm. And if they bring him off that tractor, it's a come on, man.
The Verizon Red Zone is brought to you by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
In Super Bowl 11, the Oakland Raiders danced their way to an NFL championship by defeating the Minnesota Vikings. Wide receiver Fred Biletnikoff made 4 key receptions for 79 yards to become the MVP and pave the way for Raider touchdowns. Oakland shut out Minnesota in the first half and led the Vikings 19-0 well into the third quarter. The attack and destroy Oakland offense racked up a record-breaking 429 yards, beating Minnesota for their first Super Bowl win.
Best team in the NFC.
As long as my record says that we're the best team in the NFC, I'm not going to let anybody tell me what we're not.
And they're playing extremely well. They're quietly in the lead in that division.
Touchdown save! Touchdown 49ers!
They're
dynamic on both sides of the football. It looks like the Packers are on track to go back.
Somebody has to be number one. Why not us?
From exotic escapes to spa indulgences to golf getaways, you'll discover your perfect retreat at Starwood Hotels and Resorts' brand new website, spg.com/resorts. Book your dream vacation at one of more than 200 amazing resorts and take advantage of our best rate guarantee. More luxury, more destinations. spg.com/resorts.
ESPN America, bringing you the best NHL action all season long. On Friday night, it's all about the Western Conference. Can Duchesne inspire victory north of the border, or will Edmonton's young guns have too many weapons? Avalanche at Oilers, Friday at 03:30 CET, live on ESPN America.
Welcome back to Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's.
We're used to seeing Philip Rivers as one of the best quarterbacks in football. This year he's thrown 17 picks to lead the league. He's fumbled it 4 times, and he and the Chargers have a 4-7 record. And obviously, it's not been a banner year for Rivers. If anyone deserves a pass, it is the 3-time Pro Bowler who continues to bring a competitive fire and passion to his job every week. Don't just take it from me, though. Listen for yourself as we spin back the best of Rivers' soundtracks.
Everybody's chasing us right now. We gotta keep it going. We gotta keep it going.
Rivers drops and fires. He's throwing low, and Malcolm Floyd has got it. He heaved it like he was a 1950s NBA player.
Hey, that's that old chest pass I learned in basketball camp when I was about 7. Good job on the checkdowns. Hey, they're playing songs. We're scared of our guys. We gotta keep taking them till they scoot up. I'll just throw it to Sproles early. I was trying to make something bigger than that. Okay. Just take 5. Take 5. It's me. Exactly, yeah. Care about stats anyway.
Rivers shotgun, quick throw right there. Tramon Williams with a touchdown.
Dadgummit. Golly. You gotta get 7 down there. Golly. I still ain't real comfortable yet. Hey, we didn't think we was gonna shut him out, did we? Hey, get ready to go. Get ready to go. He's about to throw us one right here. Come on.
Rivers airs it out. He throws that deep ball with the touch of a portrait artist. Touchdown, San Diego!
What a catch. Holy smokes. Hey, nice drive. Nice drive. I don't run the ball.
How many you throw for? How many touches you got?
It's 2.
That's it. I need 2 more on my fantasy, dog. Come on.
He's fire. He likes to play. And, Steve, we bring you in now. Look, we've watched Rivers. We've loved to see him play football. This year has been out of the ordinary. What do you see in your eyes?
Well, he's one of my favorite guys, and you saw that highlight, a couple of highlights. You saw Darren Sproles there. He's not there anymore. LaDainian Tomlinson, he's not in the picture anymore. A lot of his friends have left, and you saw Mort talk about the offensive linemen that have gone. He's pressed. And, you know, you can have those seasons where you've pressed and things build on each other. They get momentum negatively. You throw a pick and then you throw another one. He's good enough, and he knows he's good enough that he's not going to back down. The thing I'm disappointed in that he hasn't been able to stop the bleeding and right the ship despite the fact there's a lot of people around him that are struggling. I think great quarterbacks can do that. I'm disappointed with 17 interceptions. I'm sure he is, but that's way too many for the talent that he has. And so I think this year will be hopefully the one that writes for him a lot of learning, because he cannot continue to play like this and stay in that elite category. This is not elite play that he's doing right now.
Right, he knows for sure, Steve, and maybe December he himself can turn it around, even if it's almost a little late for the Chargers. We'll get back to you shortly. A team that started off great and now not so great. The Detroit Lions into New Orleans, who look pretty great themselves. Drew Brees, Saints just piling up the passing yards and the points. Brees shotgun, Lance Moore. 24-7, the Saints lead. Just seconds left in the half. They're so good at scoring at the end of the first half. Lions penalties. Nate Burleson catches a 25-yarder for Matthew Stafford, but one of 3 offensive pass interference calls against Burleson in the game. Stephen Logan returning a punt, and then and he's tackled And then he flips the ball at the defender, and that's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct. And Jim Schwartz telling him it's not the way to go. Down 31-17, Stafford. Brandon Pettigrew incomplete. Pettigrew shoves Roman Harper, puts his hand on the referee. Unnecessary roughness. Bad. Oh, by the way, the Saints won the game. Drew Brees, 342 yards, 31-17. So the Saints are 9-3. But, I mean, the story, really the Detroit Lions at 5-0, they were really going somewhere. What are we seeing here? And that's not an isolated incident, Tom.
No. Well, Boom, I see a team out of control. And you were mentioning numbers. So 107 yards on 11 penalties. But 130 yards of negated yardage that you gained. So 237 yards. It's easy math. Feels 100 yards long. It's at least 2 touchdowns and something else in a game that you lost 31-17. So Coach Schwartz's job, and I know that I've heard him today, is to get them under control. What I need to know is, and you know, because old school, I got 2 words for him: wind sprints. But can you do that today? Can you punish a football team, make guys run sprints, make them do things? Raheem Morris, send a guy home. Can I do things to get their attention and make sure they play the game the way it's supposed to be played?
So many changes in the CBA, you don't really know. I mean, it's a fine line where years ago you could do something like that. Now, I don't know. I think this football team overall, though, is a young football team. I think they're young. They got too much too early. They were not given, but starting off 5-0 and having the success, and everybody saying, oh, my God, this football team is on their way. Then you look at the Chicago Bear. The first time they played the Chicago Bear game, they won that football game. But you can see there were signs in there that would point to this is probably going to end bad for them. It's going to probably end bad. Then they all of a sudden started to lose football games, losing a bit of control. They have who are their leaders on their team, CC? Everybody's young. There's no veteran presence there, and you got a young first-time head coach. So with all that in the mix, they're a little bit too early to have this success.
Well, you know, it comes down to self-discipline. We all have to have it. You know, some people don't have it. You got to give it to them. As a coach, now, I can't tolerate this behavior. As a fan, I can't tolerate this behavior. And I'm sure as an owner, he's not going to tolerate this behavior because it's unacceptable in the National Football League. This football team is too good to do what they're doing right now. And they're giving the game of football a bad name, and they're giving the city of Detroit a bad name, in my opinion. Play the game by the rules. Leave it on the field. Play it fairly squarely. You think Lombardi would have taught that? You think Callis would have taught that? You think Landry would have? Come on. You got to stop this crap.
Now, Coach, I'm not going to look at the players because the players, they will actually do whatever you tolerate. So I expect players, if you don't discipline them, if you're not tough on them, I expect them to act like this. You expect them to be professionals, but most of the time, they're not going to do that. I'm concerned about the coach because he took over this team in 2009. And since 2009, second in the National Football League. Behind who? The Raiders.
I knew who was first.
Okay, so, I mean, it's just not
Behind
equated.
The Raiders in what, though, CC?
Penalties.
Most penalties.
I mean, so the thing about it, it's a system in place there, and it's hard to become a quality football team. And boom, as you like, it's hard for people around the NFL to respect the Detroit Lions now.
Well, you know what? Here's a team that for the moment has lost their way, and we've said this about 6 weeks ago. And hey, look, we can analyze the football, and we could do that. They've lost their way nationally, to your point, Chris. I mean, they were one of the stories of the year. When Detroit and Buffalo, 2 teams that have not been to the playoffs this century, all right, 1999, started out great. It was you can't root against the Lions and the Bills. That's rooting against a mosquito. You can't do it. Well, the Bills, all right, they didn't stay up there, but it's not because you're rooting against them. It's just injuries, they're not good enough at the moment. The Lions, they're difficult to embrace, aren't they? Personally, as a fan, I feel cheated by what they've done, and I feel disappointed by them. Them and the Eagles, cheated and disappointed for what I think is there. That being said, the way the NFC's shaken out, I think Detroit can still get in. I think they're going to get in.
I don't like mosquitoes either.
Well, they make you scratch a lot. They have repellent for that stuff, Coach. So, meanwhile, still think they're going to get in. We'll see. GMC never say never moments of the weekend. For the 4th straight week, Tim Tebow makes it into this slot. I think it's a record for GMC, Tom. Tebow is now 6-1 at the start of this season as he helped rally the first-place Broncos, as we showed you, past the Vikings, 35-32. And the Giants, well, they left a minute on the clock. Nah, against Aaron Rodgers, not going to work. 35 all, less than a minute to go. Rodgers leads them downfield, 4 for 4. Game-winning field goal. Packers stay perfect. 38-35 victory at the Meadowlands.
GMC Never Say Never Moment of the Week is brought to you by GMC. Check out the Never Say Never Moments of the Week at NFL.com/GMC.
Still ahead on Monday Night Countdown, Rick Riley on the strong family bonds formed by a Jaguar nicknamed Pot Roast.
I don't really have any patience for, people who don't take care of the children.
The Cowboys let one slip away in the desert.
Don't let up! Don't be let up!
Does Jason Garrett deserve all the blame? And practice doesn't always make perfect. The plays this weekend that had us screaming,
Come on, man.
This is our house! It don't matter where we play or who we play. It just matters how we play.
And the 25 he broke the tackle. Left for the chance. TD. And he makes a one-handed catch for a touchdown.
He's going to air one out down the middle, and he's caught. Touchdown!
Catch an NFL tripleheader live on ESPN America every Sunday, starting at 1600 CET with Sunday NFL Countdown.
In a rematch of Super Bowl X, the Dallas Cowboys again fell to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh quarterback Terry Bradshaw threw for 318 yards to earn the award for the most valuable player. The Cowboys kept pace, but when the clock finally ticked down, the Pittsburgh Steelers had their third Super Bowl title. The following year, Pittsburgh again made it to the big game, taking on the Los Angeles Rams in Super Bowl 14.
Bradshaw pumping, firing downfield. There goes Stallworth. He pulls it in at the 30.
In the final period, Bradshaw lofted a 73-yard touchdown pass to John Stallworth to put the Steelers in front to stay. Franco Harris then scored on a 1-yard run to capture the 4th Super Bowl for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's a different atmosphere here. You feel like you're coming through the tunnel, and it's like you're playing for all those who've stepped on that field before you.
It's there, you can feel it. As a part of the Packers, we try to use it to our advantage.
I think visitors, they understand the tradition, but I guess until you come in and play, you really don't know.
Something about it, I don't know. I think it's the tradition. There's not many NFL teams with tradition like we have here.
Whoever that opposing opposition is, good luck.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls, and we begin today with the bikini. I'll alert the media on that.
You saying baseball players can't be tough guys? $20 if you get it tattooed.
Okay, Wilmon.
He's gonna potentially have a show where he has a badge.
Boom.
Hey,
shut up with that.
Maybe he's a late bloomer.
This is horrific.
We agree.
He's a giant.
I needed a nap.
One word.
Magnifique.
I'm thinking
my quarterback.
Just stop talking.
What are these players thinking? You didn't call that.
But you know what we do have?
Pardon the interruption. Weekdays on ESPN America.
Monday Night Countdown is streaming live on your computer, tablet, or smartphone via WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app.
Welcome back, everybody. How about them Cowboys? Tony Romo, Cowboys going for 5 in a row in Arizona. 31 seconds to play the fourth quarter of a tie game. Here's a pass to Des Bryant. Here at the 32, it's going to be a 49-yard field goal. Tick, 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 tick. We got 2 timeouts, but tick, tick, tick. We got 2 timeouts. Tick, tick. Well, all right, let's spike it. We got 2 times, but tick, 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 tick. Really? 7 seconds. All right, but still we got Dan Beetle Bailey out there for a field goal. The kick is up for 49. It's good. And the Cowboys, timeout. So wasn't on. No, Arizona didn't do it. Dallas called a timeout. Dallas? So Bailey naturally not even close, short. We go to overtime. Cardinals have the ball right away. They've won already in overtime on a Peterson punt return. And now, always big around Halloween, Kevin Cobb to LaRod Stevens howling. Ow! There he goes. There goes the game. 52 yards. 19-13. How about them Cardinals? Rob Ryan, Cowboys, that was the reaction. So, Trent, look, anybody can lose. Arizona's won 3 or 4. I get it. But the end of the game, you've been there many, many, many times. How do we look at this thing?
Well, Boom, the first week of training camp, you go over end-of-game clock management situations. One of the first rules you learn is a middle-of-the-field completion with 2 timeouts left in field goal territory in this situation equals timeout. Now, the key word is clear completion in the middle of the football field. From the quarterback's perspective, you got to understand now, he's 25 yards removed from that throw to Dez Bryant. The throw is low, about ankle high, and when Dez Bryant catches it, he's immediately tackled by 2 players. From Tony Romo's perspective, he doesn't know it's a clear completion. So at that moment, it goes to the sideline, and it's the job of the offensive coordinator / head coach to save the quarterback and then call the timeout. In my opinion, this is a case of a very good football coach, Jason Garrett, losing focus in a critical moment of a football game. Coach, what do you think?
Well, I don't question you one bit. I just know one thing. As the head football coach, you have got to trust your players. You've got to put your players in the best position you can for them to succeed. And right now, that doesn't look like that's what's happening right now. I don't think he meant to freeze his own kicker. I understand that. But there's a better way to do things than they're doing it. And if you don't trust your players, you're not going to win football games. If I got a quarterback like Romo, I'm going to use him. I'm trying to get one more play out of it. I'm sorry. That's just the way I'm going to play and give myself a chip shot.
Well, a chip shot, Coach, if you get another 15 or 20 yards, your percentages go up 20 to 30%. So at the end of the day, everyone's a professional. We know the coach made a mistake. But if the kicker makes the kick, then we're not even talking about this.
True.
I mean, if he does his job, then we're not talking about the head coach or the quarterback.
You know what, CC, I was coached by Bill Parcells. I know situational football. Okay, no matter what the situation is at that time frame on the football field, all 11 of us on offense, we know the situation. I know Trent said it wasn't a clear sight line for the quarterback, but it's a clear sight line for Dez Bryant. It's a clear sight line for the other receivers that are around Dez Bryant. Okay,
who should know it's
who should know to call a timeout. And even when you ran up there, it was still 19 seconds. It was still 18 seconds. You had 2 timeouts. Call a timeout. Then when you get into your post-game press conference, and I don't know why coaches always get up there and they start lying. The first thing you want to say is, oh, well, you know, we wanted to make sure our offensive line was taken care of and there was no mistakes. They were already lined up. You didn't call a timeout before they broke the huddle and got in their stands. So save it. Lie to somebody else. Don't lie to us because we played the game.
I'm going to go to the elephant in the room. And I think, again, it's something about trust in Romo. And this is number 3. First one was the Detroit Lions. You let him throw too much.
Yep.
Lost that football game. New England Patriots, I'm not going to let you throw it all. Lost that football game. 25 seconds to 7 seconds, go up there. I don't want you doing anything. I'm going to wait until, for whatever reasons, we get down to 7 seconds. I'm going to take one of those timeouts to the airport with me. Now, that's 3. We're keeping track.
But they didn't have to.
Jerry Jones is keeping track.
But
as
at
well.
that point, Tommy, they didn't have to rely on Romo with 25 seconds to throw another pass. They could have ran the football.
But we could have done a number of things.
Exactly.
But I learned a long time ago, coaches do not win. They do not. Players win games. Coaches call the right play. They must execute the play. Players win the game. I'm sorry.
Coach, they didn't do anything. From 25 seconds to 7 seconds, we didn't do anything.
Finish that comment. Finish that comment.
Players win games.
And coaches do what?
They can only lose them.
Okay. that's all
You know what?
I've had my share.
Well, I don't know if this is players or coaches, but bigger picture on Dallas yesterday. 8 times they were in Arizona territory, including at the 4-minute mark. They were at like the 41, 42. Again, I understand I give Arizona, all right, maybe they played good defense when they got to the 40. But 8 times they were across midfield, and they got 13 points. That's really kind of waffling the whole game away, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. It's not like, wham, Arizona played great. We had to punt 45 times. No, not really. This one's going to, now, good news for Dallas. They play the Giants next Sunday night at home. They play the Giants twice, actually. So the division comes down mano-a-mano. I mean, it looks like, who knows what record the winner is going to have in that division. Very interesting. Well, in recent weeks, Rick Riley's stories, and I'm sure you've enjoyed them, they focused on the jumbled history of Saints quarterbacks, other guys in New England named Tom Brady, and a Packers fan whose season tickets may have saved his life. Tonight, Rick's subject is Jaguars defensive tackle Terrence Pot Roast Knighton. Knighton earned his nickname one night on a team plane when his teammates were having lobster and he wanted pot roast. Well, that Knighton tried to take a road less traveled is not surprising, as Rick discovered about this man dedicated to both football and family.
For some NFL players, a tattoo is just a tattoo. For Terrence Pot Roast Knighton, family first is a way of life.
You know, we're a pretty small family. We all have a tight relationship. We love each other. We're always together, and you know, we're welcome to anybody, you know, joining our family. That's just the type of people we are.
Even if that person is an adopted brother with fetal alcohol syndrome, a child born to an alcoholic, drug-addicted mother, it's not easy.
It's a lot of work, sort of like ADHD, but it's a little bit more harder to deal with.
I'll go places and people are like, oh, your son's okay. I'm like, that's not my son, it's my brother. I love him to death. He's part of the family. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
How does a 25-year-old single guy end up with a special needs brother and a puppy? Well, it starts with his mother, Rochelle Knighton. She was only 18 and unmarried when she had Terrence. His father was nowhere around. Rochelle then had 2 more sons, and when they were grown, she started taking in foster kids. How many foster kids did you have in your house?
I want to say probably 15 to 20 came through.
3 years ago, a 9-month-old baby named Jaden showed up at her house. Neglected, needy, and bringing something else.
Beautiful, big eyes, long eyelashes. He's just that kid that when you see him, you're gonna be like, oh my God, he's so adorable. He's so cute.
You should have been there that first day when the 340-pound pot roast met the 18-pound Jaden.
Terrence really don't hold babies. These big hands trying to figure out which way to do it. You know, do I hold it like a football?
The first day I met Jaden, with his birth mom not giving him the attention that he needed at the time. No emotion, no smiling, no laughing, no crying, no nothing. He just, you know, figured, I guess, why cry if nobody's gonna answer?
The Knightons wanted to answer. Rochelle adopted Jaden, and Terrence had a new brother.
He just grew on us. He needed love and we gave it to him, and once we were all in with him, there was no going back from there. He's made me a better person, really, as far as just being patient and understanding his circumstance.
Ever see the birth dad?
No, I don't have any interest. I don't really have any tolerance for things like that, especially with me growing up and, you know, my biological father not being. I don't really have any patience for, you know, people who don't take care of the children.
In 2009, Pot Roast was drafted in the 3rd round by Jacksonville and moved there by himself. But something was missing.
It was tough being down here originally by myself.
So he did something crazy. He moved his mom and the baby down to Florida with him.
I felt like it was best for my mom to be here, and it keeps me level-headed to be able to go home and come see my mom and my brothers.
Then again, Pot Roast does a lot of crazy stuff. He dreams up touchdown dances for teammates. He wrote one for Jags running back Maurice Jones-Drew at a game in Cleveland, once home to LeBron James.
And I'm always trying to do something to get other teams' fans, you know, riled up. I just tell them, like, you know, when you score, you should do this.
And unlike most NFL players, Pot Roast hates the nightlife.
I like it quiet, no noise, no kids, no dogs, none of that.
And I can't help notice you have a kid and a dog around all the time now.
Yeah, I'm kind of miserable, but no.
This kind of misery loves company. If you watch Pot Roast on the field, you'll notice how many times he's looking into the crowd for a certain hyperactive 3-year-old.
I have to make sure I look up there more often than usual because he'll definitely let me know about it after the game.
What's the best part of having Jaden as your brother?
The benefits of seeing him happy. Just seeing him run around and play and be at the games, and the kid that always looks up to you, that's always gonna watch what you're doing, and it keeps me motivated, you know, and I just like to keep him happy. If I could teach him anything, it would just be to love your family, just to be a family person. I love my family.
Thank you very much, Rick. It's not only Jaden who relies on pot roast. The Jaguars could use a big helping of him against the Chargers tonight. He's missed the last 3 games with an ankle injury, but he's expected to start this evening. We'll be back.
Coming up, another week, another victory for the Packers. Do we all think that 12-0 Green Bay will run the table in the regular season? Brett Favre to the Bears? Favre's willing to listen, but should Chicago consider bringing in Brett? And we were watching what didn't go right this weekend. It's a can't-miss edition of
Come On, man.
One, please.
Here you go. You got the last bag.
I got the last bag!
Come on, man.
College football lives here. Army versus Navy. Coverage starts Saturday at 20:30 CET. Heisman Trophy at 0200. Live on ESPN America.
The site of Super Bowl 16 was a cold and icy Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, where the San Francisco 49ers took on the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Montana's controlled passing helped San Francisco build a solid lead and shut out Cincinnati in the first half. But the Bengals bounced back in the second half, narrowing the gap to 20-14. Quarterback Ken Anderson connected with Dan Ross for a 4-yard touchdown pass and later scored on a 5-yard touchdown run. But with Ray Wersching's record-tying 4 field goals, the 49ers maintained the lead and took home the Lombardi Trophy.
Don't get no better than this, 3-3. Been waiting for this one. Hey, watch him, Jules. Hey, him. Both. 59. What was that?
Brady to throw, looking, fires, caught. Inside the 5-yard line and into the end zone.
Way to hold up, fellas. It's a fun way to start this game, huh? What we said? We're gonna fight! We're gonna lay down! Rise up! Hey, take it to another level, all right? Gotta work harder! Gotta do more! We are not finished! We are not finished, fellas! Gotta start competing, huh? Start playing with the fire, all of us. It's gonna be a great comeback, guys! It's gonna be a great comeback!
Brady, quarterback sneak, right up the middle. Touchdown.
And Brady has been lights out. That was a tough one.
ESPN America isn't just your source for North American sports in Europe and the Middle East.
It's a community that brings American sports fans together.
We've taken fandom to the next level on espnamerica.com,
where you'll find unique and exclusive content tailored for our viewers, including podcasts, blogs, photo galleries, and competitions.
Plus, you can watch game highlights and read behind-the-scene interviews with some of your favorite athletes.
What are you waiting for? Get online and join our community.
Get into the game on espnamerica.com.
Time is running out in the regular season. As the calendar turns to December, the playoff picture is coming into focus.
We just gotta do what we do. We play like we play. Everything you got.
3 perennial powers loom large at the top of the AFC.
Going up top, end zone, up, touchdown!
While the NFC's elite chase the picture-perfect Packers.
They're crushing everybody that I've seen.
We start to develop the playoff film next on Monday Night Countdown.
The picture-perfect Packers remain that way in a struggle at the Giants. Aaron Rodgers back watching Eli Manning hit Akeem Nicks for the tying touchdown if they could get the two-point conversion. DJ Ware, they did it. We're tied at 31. A minute to go and Eli's fired up, but how about this pass? Not only does it hit Jermichael Finley, it enables them to get 15 yards after catch. Next play, Rodgers. Jordy Nelson deep into Giants territory. Another short completion. And then Rodgers 4 for 4 to Greg Jennings to the 12. And, well, we're going to use our timeout. There we go. Exactly when to call it. Bring out Mason Crosby. He stills, he gnashes it. Good. And the Packers win 38-35, and they're now 12-0, 18 in a row from last December. Here's the remaining schedule. Can they do it? Home to the Raiders. At the Chiefs. Home Christmas night, Bears. Final game, home Lions. So there's the schedule. We're not even talking about all the way through January. Can they run the regular season table, go 16-0, Keith?
I think they can. I had a chance to see them up close and personal at Giant Stadium yesterday and watch the football game. And whenever the Giants had the momentum, you look at the Green Bay Packers sideline, it was like, oh, no big deal. Went right out there and answered the call. So when I'm looking at that and I'm looking at that schedule, 16-0.
It's because of number 12. And Key, you saw it. When you see him in person, I keep saying this to our viewers out there, it's a different ball. It's a different ball flight. It arrives in a different place. The placement of the ball, you watch those last two drives, there's nobody else in football who's throwing the ball like that. I'm going to add this thought before I give it to you. Nice 58-second use of the clock, timeout, get the kick up and through.
Knowing exactly
That's just out there.
Why not? You know, in the storied history of the NFL, probably nobody has more to talk about than the Green Bay Packers. Yeah. I mean, you look at the Lombardi years, you look at what they've done lately. This is a great, great organization. And I tell you what, you know, I said it, you know, it's hard to do it, but I'd love to see them do it. I really think it's good to see somebody do something. This would be set for life if they did this.
One thing, and I'm going to take it to their wide receivers, and I think it speaks to the organization. When they made that decision with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, I'm comfortable with any other football decision they make. They seem like they know what they're doing. So I'm comfortable with that. Their wide receivers, and it goes to the oldest wide receivers, only played with the Packers, and that's Donald Driver. And their ability to be unselfish, and every week it be a different guy. They don't care if it's Jordy Nelson, Jermichael, I mean, they don't care. And what they present to the defense on a weekly basis, this is by far the best wide receiving core. And Aaron Rodgers on top of that, that's the reason why they're going to be able to go undefeated, boom.
You know what, Chris, fellas, from afar, we're sitting here, we're watching, we know, but we're not right there. They aren't necessarily shooting for 16-0. This is just my take on it. But they're not running from it either.
No, that's
correct. They're embracing the whole thing without, this is what we want to, and more than anything else, I think that's the reason why they're probably going to get there to 16-0. I mean, every team's going to give them their best shot. Right. Saw it from the Giants, saw it from the Bucks, frankly. You know.
Boom. I think that test, too, being tested under the gun, kickoff to the 20, game tied up, all right? Methodically going down the football field, calling timeout, kicking the game winner, running out of MetLife Stadium. I think right there's an exclamation point for what they're trying to do.
Yeah, we don't get to see them do that much at the end. And this is nice to know in case we're wondering, could they do it?
Yes.
Okay, check. There, they got that box checked off. Steve, let's bring in Steve Young now and Trent as well. Look, on Aaron Rodgers' performance yesterday and really all year from last December, you've seen some pretty special things. You've done some pretty special things. He's right there, isn't he?
Not like this, Boomer. Not like this. This is it's astronomical, the numbers that he's putting up. But there's foundations below it that make this happen. I mean, you look at different body parts. There's footwork. We talk about quarterbacks' footwork. It tells the story for how good a quarterback's going to play. Nobody has better footwork in the pocket, or out of the pocket. I mean, he's Tom Brady in the pocket, and out of the pocket he does things that Tom can't do. His arm work, Tom Jackson talks about it. It looks different, the way he delivers the football. So all this stuff that happens on the field, he has the foundations of it. And then the head work, he has that steel trap, that kind of, I studied it on Wednesday, I remember it, and now I'm going to go execute it, and I can do it in a way that dictates to everybody else on the field. You could see it at the end of the game, 2 plays. And those 2 plays were different. One was a little flat route, perfectly in position for the gain, and then the fade to the sidelines, put perfectly. That's the kind of stuff. And the answer, so it's not like just I play. It's not just I throw the ball well. It's that I do everything, and I'm the assassin. I'm the guy that takes it by the throat. I'm the guy that the rest of the team takes and follows. I cannot say enough, Trent, for what Aaron's done this year.
Well, Steve, I'm so glad you mentioned the footwork. Frankly, I get uncomfortable talking about Aaron because I never even came close to achieving that greatness, and you have, Steve. But as I've studied greatness at the quarterback position, and I've studied it for a long time, it always goes back to one thing. Great quarterbacks in critical moments don't rely on their talent, they rely on their training. And I think Aaron's a great
close with one quick comment?
Yeah, it's a great example. Aaron is, we've talked a lot about this, is a guy that has never, he's told me this, he's never made a play in a game he hasn't rehearsed, he hasn't trained for. And I think you're seeing this greatness come out because he's just trained more efficiently and harder than the other quarterbacks in the game, Steve.
I agree, Trent. You know what? And I think that there's art in this too now. This is not, you cannot coach this. Anyone says, I'm coaching Aaron Rodgers right now, the things that he's doing, to a point, there's a coaching that makes a difference. But this is the art, the creation that he's creating out on the field himself. He's figured out his own way to do it. So anyone who says he's helping him do this, he's doing this completely on his own as the creator of all the things that happen on the field.
Well, you know what, fellas, and I think you probably both agree, and you are football fans in addition to the rest of us, the best may be yet to come for Aaron Rodgers. Right?
Yeah, he's just warming up, right?
That's a great point.
We're only just, it's not even Christmas yet. So
he had a horrible game, and he was rated 105. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Don't get jealous now. Steve, Trent, good to be with you.
Enjoy it. It's just the appetizers we've seen so far.
Always
Wait, we get the main course.
Some news today about the guy who was the quarterback at Green Bay before Aaron Rodgers. You might have remembered him. Mort, Adam, Brett Favre news?
Well, every now and then, Boom, we hear a quarterback creep out of his shadow like a groundhog, and there's a chattering of Brett Favre news. But the bottom line here is that Lovie Smith, the Bears head coach, said today, despite the fact that one person close to Favre said he'd have an interest in listening to the Bears, that the Bears are not making a move at quarterback. And we still have not heard publicly from Favre that he would have an interest in coming back, despite the fact that he's been linked throughout this season to the Dolphins and the Texans, so it looks like no Favre to the Bears.
I think that's possum, not groundhog, down in Mississippi, by the way. And Donovan McNabb, we heard Devin Hester, the Bears wide receiver, on Mike and Mike this morning, said it would be a waste of time to bring in anybody, including McNabb, because of Mike Martz's complex offense. And that's the way Lovie Smith, the head coach, sees it as well. They're sticking with Caleb Haney, Nathan Enderle behind him, and Josh McCown as they wait for Jay Cutler to come back from that surgery. So right now, it's Caleb Haney for the Chicago Bears. Boom.
Well, interesting. I mean, of course, you knew that number 4's name would be around in a minute, whether he wanted it was behind that or not. Should they pursue a Favre or McNabb the Bears? Because what we saw yesterday, the first 2 games, no good, Chicago.
Well, they definitely shouldn't go after Brett Favre. Brett struggles anytime he's not in that type of offense, the West Coast offense. And it's the Brett Favre thing is really, really old. I mean, like, stop.
See, I want you to float my name out there. I might come back.
This is the thing about McNabb. I'm concerned about McNabb because he had training camps to be prepared for these last 2 stops in Washington and Minnesota. And now I'm starting to be concerned about what his legacy is going to be because it's starting to get a little smelly. So I wouldn't be really quick to go somewhere else with McNabb as a quarterback.
Well, for football purposes, I wouldn't pursue either one. If the team and the coaching staff don't believe in you, then Donovan McNabb probably would be wasting his time with the Chicago Bears. But I've been in TV for 25 years, and I'm trying to imagine on Christmas night, Brett Favre trying to stop Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field from an undefeated season.
Does he ride to the game on the white horse?
Broadcasting the game, whoever's doing it, you might want to look into that. You might want to send a plane and go get him.
Mine's very simple. Stop it.
Well, they wait on Cutler. I mean, no one really knows. Obviously, he's not on IR like all these other ones, that Schaub's, et cetera, the Castles. They wait on Cutler. When is this thumb going to allow him to play? Maybe he'll be back that Christmas night game against Green Bay. Maybe. So that's obviously going to affect their decision. Chicago, of course, the injury bug at quarterback and now at running back with Matt Forte. And then you saw the result, 3 points. Back to Adam and Mort. What do we know?
Well, but it turns out that Bears running back Matt Forte has a grade 2 MCL sprain on that knee. Could be 2 weeks, could be 6 weeks, but with that unresolved contract situation, it's probably going to last longer rather than sooner. In the interim, the Bears will have to make do with Marion Barber and Caleb Haney leading them on their playoff push.
And as the Texans get ready to play a pretty important game against the Bengals in the AFC, their ace wide receiver, Andre Johnson, had an MRI on his left hamstring. It's a mild hamstring pull, but owner Bob McNair let it slip this week. It's probably going to be a couple of weeks before he comes back.
More speaking of mild hamstring pulls, 49ers linebacker Patrick Willis has a grade 2 hamstring strain and could miss a little time. The injury will heal on its own, but it did not turn out to be as bad as the 49ers thought when he limped off the field yesterday.
And it looks like Michael Vick is going to be good to go for a start this week. He was back at practice today on Monday, and he says his ribs are not fully healed, Boomer, but he is ready to go. They are still waiting for Jeremy Maclin to come back. Maclin has a shoulder, but more troublesome for Maclin, he says, is his hamstring.
Well, it goes around and round and round, doesn't it, Morton, Adam? Thank you. After tonight, everyone in the league will be at the three-quarter pole, the regular season. At the top, of course, the Packers, the 5th team in the last 10 years to start 12-0. At the bottom, the Colts, still searching for their first win at 0-12. Well, they played better yesterday. There's plenty of filling in the middle, including the 2 teams on our air tonight. The Chargers and Jaguars both had playoff expectations back in September. Now both could simply use a win, and the Chargers could keep their faint playoff hopes alive. For more on our matchup tonight, we head down to Jacksonville, check in with the guys calling the game. That'd be Mike Tirico, Ron Jaworski, Coach John Gruden. Fellas?
All right, Boomer, thank you. We'll get to those slim chances for the Chargers in a minute. Guys, this figures to be an offseason of a lot of coaching changes. They're rumoring one in San Diego. It's already happened here in Jacksonville. So let's get to the guy replacing Jack Del Rio. Introduce you to Mel Tucker, 39 years old. He's been the defensive coordinator here the last 3 years. Really took over the play calling this year, and that was helped with some good talent that they were acquired, I should say, in the offseason. And this has been a much better defense. So Tucker gets the 5-game audition. Where'd he come from? From East Cleveland, Ohio, recruited by Barry Alvarez, part of that foundation building group at Wisconsin. Grad assistant where he's made the coaching entree for Nick Saban, Michigan State, and then LSU. On to Ohio State, 4 years there, including one as the co-defensive coordinator for Jim Tressel, and then to the NFL in state in Ohio with the Browns under Romeo Crennel. So that's how Mel Tucker has arrived at this 5-game window to prove he can be an NFL coach. Meantime, on the San Diego side, let's talk about the Chargers. A team that always started slow. Norv Turner got them out of the gate 4-1. But since then, they've lost every game. And Jaws, as we look at the numbers, I ask you, are the Chargers done for this year?
Well, Norv Turner is a terrific football coach, but they're done. The San Diego Chargers have been decimated by injuries all season long. You look on the defensive side of the football, far too many backup players playing too many snaps, not getting pressure on the quarterback. Flip this over to the offensive side. The wide receiver's been battered and bruised. The running game has been spotty. The offensive line is really in a state of flux. In fact, tonight they're going to be starting Jared Gaither. Oh, by the way, John, he came to practice for the first time on Wednesday. He's got to protect Phillip Rivers. Even Phillip Rivers, one of the elite quarterbacks in this league, he has not had the kind of season we expect from Phillip Rivers. Hey, but you know what? I don't think they're going to get it done, my friend. I think they're done.
Obviously, you're the most negative guy I've ever met.
You're Johnny
My
Positive.
stomach hurts. They win this game tonight. They're 2 games out of first place.
Right.
And there's 4 games left to play. But the biggest reason I like the San Diego Chargers is because of their quarterback, Phillip Rivers. He's 22-2 in his career in the month of December and January. He's got one of the quickest triggers in the NFL. Yes, he's got some injuries around him, but this guy can throw the football. I think he's still the top quarterback in the AFC. They got to give him some protection and get him some deep ball looks down the field. And Norv Turner feels no pressure. He applies pressure. I like the battery of Turner and Rivers. They've been here before, Mike. They were 3 games out of first in 2008 with 3 to go,
yeah.
and they won the division. Just stay away from the negative people, Philip. Listen to guys like me. You get this done.
They've
one
lost
win at a
6
time.
straight games, John. 6 straight. Well, there's a switch to turn it on? All right.
Well, I don't know how the game's going to be. Maybe it'll be. These guys will be good, at least. We'll see at the bottom of the hour for the Chargers in this must-win, taking on the Jaguars. Boomer, we'll see you then.
Guys, look forward to that. They're firing up everybody when we return. We'll head back to the city that gave us the Allman Brothers. Also gave us Limp Bizkit. As we tune you into tonight's biggest storylines. Plus, who limps this week into Come On, Man?
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
You are watching Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's.
Winter 1891. A doctor and a peach basket changed the world of sport forever. And while some of the rules may have remained, the game has certainly changed. College basketball, over 120 years of tradition, all season long, live on ESPN America. Super Bowl 21 saw giant cars, giant crowds, and a New York Giant team with giant success over the Denver Broncos. The day belonged to New York quarterback Phil Simms, whose 10 consecutive completions highlighted a 30-point second half that earned him the MVP award. 4 years later, New York won by a sliver in the silver anniversary of the Super Bowl. Employing their ball control offense, the Giants maintained possession for 40 minutes. Still, Buffalo managed to keep up, getting the ball within field goal range in the game's final seconds. But Scott Norwood's 47-yard field goal attempt sailed right, preserving New York's lead.
LeGarrette Blunt hurdle is like a LeGarrette Blunt hurdle is
A LeGarrette Blunt hurdle is
Olympic.
amazing.
It's always crazy seeing him jump. I mean, it's one of those things that you don't know how he does it. The man weighs 255 pounds.
You know, it's just instinct. My favorite hurdle is probably Arizona Cardinals game last year.
Blunt went airborne. Put on the Superman cape. LeGarrette Blunt with a phenomenal run.
It's just like perfect. I mean, he's got perfect form, but he swear up and down he didn't run hurdles in high school. Yeah, he did.
Being able to have that, you know, as a weapon is just amazing. It's like people still can't stop it. Like, you don't know when he's gonna do it. He times it out so perfect.
It's legit.
Mike Tolbert bouncing around. Chargers hoping to bounce around tonight at Jacksonville. For one last check on both sides before kickoff, we bounce down to the Sunshine State. The DirecTV team report. Sal Palantonio once again. Sal.
Hey, Boomer, beautiful night for Monday Night Football. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's all about auditioning for the new head coach, Mel Tucker, who's the interim, and he's auditioning to keep his job on January 4th when the new owners take over. For the San Diego Chargers, it's all about survival. Philip Rivers told us, no quit in this team. They want to continue and win out and make the playoffs, and it's very important for them to really play well tonight. He said, listen, it's been brutal. We haven't won since October 9th. We got to let it all hang out and have fun. Boomer?
Well, if all else fails, remember it is football, Sal. Have a good time. Time to make the Dunkin' Donuts Field Pass. Game in Florida, so we'll go with some key lime filling. Tommy, Philip Rivers. I mean, he's You'd want him on your team.
Yeah, awfully good quarterback, having a tough year, though. Leads the league right now with 17 interceptions, has 8 fumbles on the season. That's one more than all of last year. We all know that he can throw the ball, but those turnovers are killing the Chargers. Last time he was on Monday Night Football, had a key fumble against the Kansas City Chiefs, may have cost the Chargers a chance to win. Has to play better.
Tommy, I'm going to be like Coach Gruden. I'm going to try to be positive. There's a lot of negative information. Blaine Gabbert. Now, the Jaguars traded a first and a second round pick to move up and take him with the 10th pick that Washington had. Has not thrown more than 1 touchdown pass in any game this year. Lowest completion percentage among any of the starters in the National Football League. He looks the part. He doesn't throw well when they blitz. Look for the Chargers to blitz him tonight, Key.
And you know what, CC, I am going to be positive because I like this guy like Coach Gruden would say. I think Maurice Jones-Drew is the ultimate pro at the running back position. Second in the league with over 1,000 yards rushing. It's not a lot of great things you can say about the Jacksonville Jaguars, but he is one that you can't talk about in a positive light. He wants to try to help Mel Tucker keep his job, pass that interim tag. For some reason, Maurice Jones-Drew, I like him, although he is a Bruin.
I'm going to talk a little bit about Antonio Gates, and he's one of the best tight ends in football, and he's really been hampered this year, guy. He's got a torn plantar fascia, which is the thing that attaches underneath your heel. It's tremendously painful. I've had it. He's playing through it. Last year against this same Jaguar team, he caught 2 TD passes. Look for him to be a favorite in the red zone. He can still run the short pattern really good.
He's a warrior.
I love him.
He's out there, and a lot of other people wouldn't be out there, I can tell you that much. From the donuts to the plays that drove us nuts over the weekend, featuring one facet of the game more than others in this week's Come On, Man. We'll be back.
On Monday Night Football, you know everybody is watching. For me, I love going on the road to play in a hostile environment.
You grow up as a kid, Mondays knowing it gets dark and the game's coming on.
Let's go! How y'all feel? Lead, agile, most hostile.
You want to put on the best show that you ever had.
I love playing under the lights. I wish you could do it every week.
Monday night's awesome.
This is what we live for out here.
He darts away to the 40, still on his feet. Touchdown!
It can bring the goosebumps out.
60 minutes. Let's dominate.
Monday Night Countdown is served by Applebee's new sizzling entrees. Fresh flavor, never sounded so good. And in part by GMC. Enter the Never Say Never sweepstakes for a chance to win a GMC Sierra Denali at gmc.com/NFL.
College basketball doubleheader live on ESPN America. First up, the unpredictable Arizona Wildcats take a trip into Gator Country. Then we're in Indy as the Butler Bulldogs host the Musketeers. It all starts Wednesday at 0100 CET, live on ESPN America, the home court of college hoops.
In Super Bowl 34 against the Tennessee Titans, the St. Louis Rams hope to write the final chapter in their storybook season. The Rams took a 16-0 lead when former NFL Europe star Kurt Warner hit Torrey Holt in the third quarter. The Titans responded with a rushing attack courtesy of Eddie George.
What a run! Touchdown, Titans!
With the game tied at 16 late in the fourth quarter, the Rams retaliated.
Caught by Isaac Bruce. Makes a move to the 30, 25-20, and they won't catch him today. Touchdown, Rams!
The Titans still had one last chance.
McNair drops, throws right side for Dyson. He dives for the end zone. He came up 1 yard short.
An MVP trophy for Warner and a Super Bowl ring for head coach Dick Vermeil finalize this Cinderella story.
I called the president. President, we need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots. So call the dogs off. Send the National Guard, please. They need emergency help. Please help these folks. They're coming. Help is on the way. Help is on the way.
Boom, here comes the jet.
Boom, here come the Jets.
It's tone time, baby. Let's go. He keeps us laughing.
Get my big arm warmed up. Marino.
Oh, you gotta have it, kid.
Heard my quarterback rating.
Let's go eat a snack. Let's go get a freaking snack.
Let's New York Jets football, boys.
It's not like those guys to be late.
Yeah. Give it up, Boomer. Pick it up sooner. Come on.
Hey, whoa. Hey, Coach, what's with the schooner?
We thought we'd carpool today.
Come on, you guys, get in. Plenty of room.
Come on, Fowler.
Here they are, the national panel.
Today I'm feeling like the bee's knees.
Every day I lose, I die just a little.
Around the horn is my favorite to do.
Let's go to work.
A great young talent.
He is not that popular.
Tell me, they win bad games.
I have a real problem with it because he punched a guy.
Why'd you have to go get Woody all riled up?
Get over it.
I'm fine with it.
Woody and I get awful tired of having to set these youngins straight.
What more could you possibly want?
The perfect bobblehead technique.
Going old school.
Here's an extra point for you. How about that? It's not over, it's just beginning.
Don't miss Around the Horn, weekdays on ESPN America.
Come On Man is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, I mean, we comb everything to figure this thing out. Week 13. What could have happened, Keon? Come on, man, on week lucky 13.
Well, we're going to punch Jason Garrett in the gut one more time. Let's go to the Cowboys and the Cardinals. Dan Bailey lining up for a 49-yard field goal as he attempts it. The referee waves the kickoff, although he did make it with plenty of distance, because Jason Garrett, the Ivy League compadre, decides that he wants to ice his own kicker. Next step, they line up. This time he misses the kick. As you can see right there, he iced his own kicker, boom. The head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, with information given to him by his assistants, not very smart for an Ivy League guy, should have stayed in that public education.
I'm going back to college. FCS championship. Northern Iowa versus Walford. Stephon Shelton right here. Catch the ball, don't down it. All right, they knock it out of his hand. Northern Iowa recovers it. Let's take another look. Shelton hanging out in the end zone. Upset the Northern Iowa. They stripped the ball from him. He begins to have a conversation with himself. I'm getting ready to make, come on, man.
CC Ravens, Browns, Ravens punting. Danny Gore, now he's the gunner, and he's making a great play here, except I'm on the wrong side of that line, ain't I? I'm on the wrong side of that line. Oh, man. I missed it by what? Just take a look at his mouth. Missed it by that much. Come on, man.
Robert Mitchum with the reception. Watch this. Eric Wright trying to make the tackle. Watch it. Left, right, left. We got a little dance going here, but he ain't winning it. And Mitchum takes it into the end zone. Go back again. This is the old two-step, three-step, two-step, three-step, and Mitchum scores. Come on, man.
One of the best kickers in football, Sebastian Janikowski, 6 field goals a week ago, but against Miami to try to stop a kick return. Safe! That's good if you're playing for Oakland and you're Ricky Henderson. But now if he gets him, it's a yellow card in soccer, right? Sebastian, we love you. But come on, man. That was interesting.
The Raiders, they've been doing good all year long. Somehow they find themselves back on come on.
Well, that's Tommy's leg.
You better watch yourself in the parking lot. Them kickers going to start looking for you.
He's probably laughing at himself there. I just did a whole swarming on him in Leckler.
Yeah.
Come on now. Nobody's Joe Cap, though. Checking out our pick standings. Everybody got the win with the Saints, except Key gave it a shot. Chris and Tommy 10-2. Most of us 9-3. Key 7-5, but he had a good view of the dessert cart. Steve, Stu, and Trent, they're all picking San Diego. All right, so now tonight, San Diego at Jacksonville. What do you think, Coach?
Well, I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I just think they're going to run that football and be successful.
Picking them bums like Kansas City got me at 7-5. So I'm going to pick another bum like Jacksonville and see if I can get up.
Well, Jaws said something interesting about that offensive line in San Diego, how they had quit. Now, he's been talking to the teams. I think he know a little more than me. I'm going to switch it, Tommy. I'm going with the Jags. Mel Tucker.
Look at his face. He didn't know you was going to
See,
I'm staying at the top of the list.
Look, anytime you change the coach, you get the attention of the rest of the football team. They start thinking you might make a change with them. So I'm taking the Jaguars and hoping that Mel Tucker has really inspired them to play better.
So let me ask something.
I know where you're going.
Are you all on the Jaguars? Is that so?
Yes, we
Well, it's not been the normal year for a lot of folks out in Southern California. But you know what? If I got to pick this game, I got one thing to say.
Go Chargers, go!
Haven't been going that great.
Yeah, he's had
I'm with him. 23-16 San Diego, please. Win a game.
Boom.
See it prime time at halftime. You're all on
It never gets old.
It doesn't.
Governor
Thanks for watching. Have a great time on Monday Night Football.
Some seasons are longer than others, with more bad breaks, bad bounces, and bad news.